What's going on, YouTubers? Big Philly Poor Boys RC. Thank you again for tuning in today. I've got an interesting little project on the go here, guys. For many, many years, I've I've always been challenged, and I've always wanted to know if there would be ever a way to lengthen the wheelbase of the Tamiya Midnight Pumpkin. Or the Lunchbox, basically the CW01 chassis. Is there a good way to do it? And as of today, there is. And what we've got here to help us lengthen the wheelbase on the Midnight Pumpkin are these rear gearbox mounts by RC Renew. And what they are, guys, is just a couple 3D printed parts that's going to help stretch out the wheelbase of the pumpkin, give it a bit of a different look, make it handle a bit better. And I'm really excited to get these installed. And also from RC Renew, I'm going to be installing this front camber correction plate. And what it's designed to do basically is take out some of the camber, that crazy camber that you find in the front end of a CW01 chassis, and reduce it somewhat. So a couple parts to go in, and let's get cracking. And just a quick overview of the parts, guys. Build quality, I mean, they're 3D printed, to let you know right off the hop. This is my first time buying and using 3D printed parts, and in an RC. So in anything, really, it's the first time I've ever purchased a 3D printed part. I was always sort of hesitant. They just, I always thought they may be a little bit softer, or maybe not as strong as factory parts would be, but I'm impressed. Like, they're very strong. I'm trying to, bend these things, and they seem like they're gonna hold up to the task. So I'm really excited about getting these installed. And one other thing, as I open this package up, one other note that I want to make you guys aware of is that these gearbox mounts for the CW01 chassis are special in that you see this round hole that they've printed into the inside portion of the bracket. And so what that's going to do on the factory CW01 gearbox bracket, this is an elongated hole, and you all know what the rear gearbox slap is. As you hit the gas and the gearbox slaps within here. So built into this is an eliminator of that gearbox slap. And yeah, pretty cool that you don't need to get a special secondary part to keep your gearbox stable. It'll just plug in there and work like a hot damn. And one quick measurement before we get started. And it looks like our factory wheelbase is about, so we're right about 8.5 inches. I'm one of those like measure 5 times, cut 4 times types of guys. I'm not super accurate, so let's just say 8.5 inches or so. Just want to take a pre-measurement, then a post-measurement to see how it looks. So just by removing that plate, that battery holding plate, we've got 4 more screws here to be removed, and then that'll allow us to slide these gearbox holders out. This kit's about 10 years old, so you can imagine about 10 years of sand and grit and grime holding those in place. But yeah, they come out pretty easily. And while I've got you here, let's look at the difference between the two. So here we have the factory piece, and here we have the 3D printed piece by rcrenew.com. And yeah, you can see how this line would indicate as far as the part's going to go into the chassis. So here we're buying ourselves another 1/2 inch or so, which is pretty darn cool. And on the flip side, what I was mentioning earlier is that you've got this elongated hole, which from factory, you've got this little spring that's supposed to hold your gearbox in place. They all break over time. And you can see I've actually fitted a screw into mine to keep my gearbox stable. Whereas on the 3D printed part, we don't have the elongated hole. We just have a nice round hole, and our gearbox will slide right in, and it's going to reduce that slap. So let's see how these guys fit. They fit in nicely, look at that. And you know, as I'm doing this, I'm thinking maybe I should put a bit of grease or something on here because it's a pretty snug fit. Second one, I'm just gonna put the grease right in there. So hindsight's always 20/20, and it appears as though now that we're lengthening this wheelbase quite a bit, easiest way to put this all back together is going to be just to put these 3D printed pieces on first, and then to guide them into the slots in the chassis. Just like that. So take a nice close look here, guys, and you can see that now with this new modification and with this new part on here, we have eliminated any of the slap that you get out of this end of the gearbox, which is a really cool thing. There are some chassis braces that you can purchase or like a brace that'll bolt to the chassis that holds it, or some guys do a 5th shock mod. And here you're kind of getting like 2 mods in one, if you will, in that you've lengthened your wheelbase and you've stiffened up the rear end. So that's it. That was a super quick, easy install. It took about 10-15 minutes. That's with my blender. So again, watch my videos. Let me screw up so you don't have to. Right on, Phil. While we're here, since we've got the front end taken apart, we are also going to install the Camber Correction Kit. So all of you CW01 owners out there, if you've left your front suspension alone, you haven't put the Ampro mod on there yet, you know you've got that crazy camber in the front end. This little brace is designed to sort of just slide in there and reduce that a little bit. So we'll pop that in and see how it looks. So this is it, guys. Just a tiny little piece of 3D printed plastic. It's gonna sit right here. And one thing to note, guys, is that you've got this silver screw is what comes in the kit from factory. You're going to have to use a longer screw, and the kit doesn't come with a longer screw, so I just pulled it out of my parts bin so that we can get through this front little T-plate and also through here, through our modded plate and into the chassis. I am in love with this stance. Check it out. Would you look at that? That looks awesome. Just a couple extra millimeters. Yeah, about 1/2 inch, guys. We've added about 1/2 inch there. Right about to that 9-inch wheelbase mark from 8.5. And I love it. I love it. I think it looks really badass. It looks a little more hot roddy, in my opinion. Puts a little more of an angle on the rear shock, makes it look super aggressive. Now let's check out the front. We all know about the crazy wacky camber situation, so here it is now, just as it plops down. It's somewhat corrected. It still has quite a bit of camber in it, and if I lift it up, it still has quite a bit of camber, but not as crazy. And what I'm also noticing is that as the front suspension flexes, I have to be pretty much full compression for my body to touch the tires, whereas before it would touch quite easily. So that is a pretty cool thing. And just a quick FYI, the front camber fixer doodle kit also came with these 2 shock spacers, which I'm not going to use because my shocks have threaded, they're oil-filled shocks, they're threaded at the top, so they work great as is. But these might come in handy if you're still running the stock pogo sticks up front. Long wheelbase pumpkin. Short wheelbase lunchbox. Long wheelbase. Short wheelbase. Both. What do you think, guys? Which one do you prefer? Leave your comments down in the comment section below. I'm really curious to know what you guys would think, because I really love this look. Man, I've been looking at this for 30 years or more. And I'm just so used to this wheelbase and thinking of, CW01 chassis, and it just makes me smile and laugh, and, it's so goofy. Here, it's almost like it looks modernized in a lot of ways, and just like I say, it fits right here a little bit better, I think, than the stock one, the stock setup does, in that forward leaning shock. And man, it looks so nice. One last side by side, guys. What do you think? Which one looks better? Let me know. And now the camber comparison. So modified front camber, stock front camber. You can see the lower control arms there, the lower A arms, how steep that is versus mine. A little bit less. And if I pick mine up, pick up the wife's, crazy camber. So what do you think, guys? Which one do you prefer? Modified front camber, stock front camber? Leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. So that's it for today's episode, guys. Thanks again for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys watching. Also, if you really wouldn't mind, and if you haven't already, please do hit the thumbs up button and subscribe if you haven't already. That stuff really means a lot to us these days in the world of YouTube, and I'd really, really appreciate it. If you're enjoying the content, please give me a thumbs up. Please give me a subscription. Hit the notification bell if you haven't already. And throw down any comments down in the comment section below if there's any more information that you'd like to know about, any more videos you'd like for me to produce. Happy to answer each and every one of you guys, and we'll definitely get this guy out for a rip and see how it works. I really hope it still wheelies. That's one of the best parts of a CW01 chassis, is the insane wheelies. So I hope this lengthened wheelbase doesn't negatively affect the wheelie situation. So fingers crossed, it's still a fun wheelie machine. But I'll get it out. We'll do some tuning and testing. It'll be a lot of fun. Come along for the ride. Love you guys. Thanks for all the love and support. As always, be excellent to each other. All right, guys, so we're just out here in the backyard to do a little bit of testing with the new super sick wheelbase, Midnight Pumpkin. So let's see how she performs.